thinking quite a bit about what it means to know God. But really more importantly, what it means for God to know me. Because the one cannot be without the other. If I know God, then it means God must know me, and if God knows me, it means that I must know God. There's this ongoing process in life, really what life is about, and it is about getting to know God. I understand God to be singularly unique. He's the creator of all, He's the life source of all, and therefore everything comes from Him. If everything comes from God, then it means that I need to make a plan, or I need to make it my life's mission to get to know this Creator, to get to know who He is and what He is and what He's all about. I understand that I am made in the image of God. That means that I really am made just like Him. I am just like Him. My nature and my character is implanted already from when He decided to make me, when He started forming me. I was made to be just like God. And from this, I understand that in order for God to know me, He must be able to see Himself reflected in me, in the choices I make, the lifestyle, my conduct, the way that I treat people. He must be able to see His character reflected in me. And if He sees that, then there's this possibility that God can know me. So when God looks at me, He must be able to say, oh, I know that, or I recognize that. I see myself. I understand that. Now, here's the real thing. My human nature is diametrically opposed to the nature of God. My humanity, when I say, oh, but I'm just human, is very, very far removed from God. And I understand that. I know that. And so does God. However, at the same time, God makes it possible for me to be able to change that, and for you to change that. In fact, He makes it possible for that process to change into more of being like Him. He makes it possible for that process to start, but not only to start, but also to continue. And therefore He writes and he tells us that He says, I am holy, so you must be holy. In other words, this is who I am, this is my character, this is my nature. I want you to be just like I am. I want you to strive to be just like I am. Change your humanity, change your humanness, so that you can become just like me. Do you see, when we read in Genesis 1:26, and God said, let us make man after our image and after our likeness. There are two things. It's the image and it's the likeness. Now the image is really who God is, so that's already implanted. I can't change that. You can't change that. You are made to be just like God. However, likeness implies a choice. It means I have to choose to be like the image. So the one cannot move or cannot work without the other. So if God makes a way or makes it possible for me to change, then it leads me to believe that the start of that process is to admit the fact that I've erred somewhere or that I've made a mistake. In other words, the first point of departure for me is to go to God and to say, I'm sorry, I missed the mark. I really am sorry. But sorry isn't good enough, because sorry leaves it open that I can just say sorry and carry on in exactly the manner that I did previously. No, sorry must be followed by forgiveness. Now God also makes it possible that we can go to Him and say, forgive me. So not only am I sorry, but I'm now asking you to forgive me. And God is so faithful, He is so just, that He tells us in His Word that He will forgive us and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. So nothing will stand between me and God and this process of change. But Even in forgiveness, I can still go back to my previous way of thinking or my previous way of acting. And so for me, it means that there is a third step after sorry, after forgiveness, and that is repentance. Now, repentance is not a one-time event. Repentance is an ongoing process. So repentance has a start, but repentance does not have an end. So it means that this process of change, this process of me becoming holy, this process of me becoming more like God, this process of me getting to know God and God getting to know me, we can really just phrase that as repentance. I need to live a life of repentance. And so really, it's in a lifestyle of repentance that I get to know God, that I become acquainted with His love, His mercy, and His grace. And when I become acquainted with that, I start changing from the inside out. My nature, my character changes. And this process leads me to become more and more and more like the image He created. And therefore, more and more and more, God gets to know me.